All right, guys, it's hump day. Woot woot. What day is it, Mike? That's right. We got a story that was given to me by Big Nick, South Florida Accountability. I will put his channel link in the description box below, along with a link to this full story. Go check out his channel. You got to check out Big Nick of South Florida Accountability. He's got one of the best openings, I think, of all the auditors, man. I love that guy's opening theme, Big Nick. I just love it. Go watch it. He really lights up the cops. He doesn't take any crap from them. But the nice cops, he points them out and says, this is a nice cop. So go check him out. And he gave me a story out of Coral Springs, Florida. Now, I saw this story on Facebook like several times. I watched the video a couple times. I watched it again last night. And I kind of side with the cop on his technique, except he needs to tweak it a little. And you'll see as it unfolds. But if the story is true, also, I think the girl needed to be handcuffed, and you'll see why. I don't want to give too much away. But also, why does the video start right when cops are on top of her trying to get her hands? Why? What happened 5 minutes prior? What happened 10 or 20 minutes prior? That's what I want to know. It really irks me, and it is one of my pet peeves watching an auditor or a cop watcher's video, and they go, watch this tyrant. Look at this cop. This cop's a tyrant. Look. And the video starts right when the cop's walking up on him and chewing him out. I want to know what happened 5 minutes ago. Were you taunting the cops? Were you actually breaking the law? Were you disturbing the peace? I want to know what happened. And in this one, it's the same way. I want to know what these teenagers were doing. I looked and looked for video, and none of the teenagers recorded it, or they haven't published it yet. Maybe they're scared because of the cops. But I want to know what they were doing at the mall. And you're going to hear why I want to know why this video started right when the cops were on top of him. What happened 10 minutes before? Here we go. Police in Coral Springs, Florida are defending an officer's actions after he was filmed punching a 14-year-old girl while she was pinned to the ground during an arrest. The Coral Springs Police Department has issued a statement saying the cell phone video doesn't tell the entire story. And a lot of times it don't. Department Deputy Chief Bradley McKeown told reporters, quote, the officer's actions were 100% within policy, legal, and were not excessive. The department said officers were called to Coral Springs Mall on Thursday because teens were harassing patrons, and one mother claimed one of the teens shoved her 5-year-old child to the ground. Jesus, ain't a shame. Police banned the group from the mall at the request of its security team, but police said the group eventually returned. After one person was arrested, police said the girl in the video attempted to incite other teens. The department has issued in a statement, quote, officers attempted to take her into custody, at which time she began to fight and resist arrest. Due to her stature and aggressive behavior, officers took her to the ground, attempting to get her to release her fists. The teen's mother, Jessica Dennis, said the officer went completely overboard. The family's attorney, Megan Moldoff, I could not find a picture of her, it just said photo coming soon, whatever that means. But Megan Moldoff only spoke about the moments captured on video and said she wouldn't comment on the criminal aspect of the case. So I wouldn't either if I was an attorney. But to say the police officers was justified, this is Moldoff being quoted, but to say the police officer was justified to punch her continuously while he has his knee on her back and her hands under her belly, the video speaks for itself. Now, police said they are not investigating the officer's actions. However, that could change if the mother decides to file a formal complaint, CBS Miami reports. So that last one there, I don't know if I would have given that statement because they said, well, we're not going to investigate the officer's actions. But if the mother makes a formal complaint, then I guess we have to. What? That sounds like a justification if I've never ever heard one. Well, they're not saying the officer, they said the officer was right the whole time, then say they're not going to investigate, but then they say, but if the mother files a formal complaint, we will investigate. What the Well, if he was right, and you know that he's right, and they've already looked at the video and everything, if she files a formal complaint, they can sit down with her. But why wait until someone files a formal complaint to conduct an investigation? So did they trip on themselves? Did he really, maybe he did do wrong, and they're just justifying it and saying, well, if the mother makes a formal complaint, then of course it's something big, and then we have to investigate. What? I don't know. I'm confused. 2 plus 2 doesn't make 4 in that statement right there. 2 plus 2 makes 7 because something's not adding up. They're leaving out something by saying, well, if she files a formal complaint, then of course we'll investigate. Why not investigate before the complaint? Why not investigate before people start complaining? Why not say, okay, did the officer do everything right? You said he did 100% right. He was good. But if the mother complains, we'll do an investigation. What? I'm sorry. I digress. I'm being redundant, but it's for effect. I don't get it. Talk a little bit about him punching her. Those are called distraction strikes. If she was being aggressive, maybe swinging on the officers, I don't know, pushing the officers, resisting arrest, those strikes are to get her to move a certain part of her body so they can pull her hands out and handcuff her. So I'm not totally against those strikes if she's being aggressive. She's a bigger girl. But with his knee on her back like that and her shoulder blades, I don't know that she could totally pull her hands out. I think they might have been pinned under her body. And, of course, that big cop with his weight on her, so he was basically trying to get her to comply and do something that she's physically unable to do with his knee on her. So I think that needs to be tweaked a little. I think the officer may not have been paying total attention. A whole lot was going on. There was a lot of commotion, and everything. But, let me get back to the kids. If they were there pushing 5-year-olds down and causing problems and inciting each other, look, parents, stop blaming the cops because your kids are little bastards. Walk up and smack them on the ass and say, knock that crap off. Or I'm taking your PS4 or your PS3 or Xbox One and I'm chucking them across the street. That's what you do, parents. You don't blame the cops because your kid's at the mall shoving little kids down and knocking stuff off the shelves, and you spank their ass. But to the cops, yeah, sometimes the cops do go overboard. Sometimes their adrenaline goes and they don't know how to manage that. Maybe better training. Maybe you need better cops. But like I said, I will end it with that little analysis that I don't think she could pull her hands out from under her with his knee in her back. But those strikes, he wasn't punching her. He was doing what's called distraction strikes to get her to move a certain part of her body so he could pull her arm out and that they could handcuff her. So I'm not totally against that, but I think he probably needed to move his knee and let some other officers hold her, or maybe put his hand on the back of her neck just with a little pressure to pull her arm out. It didn't look like he was trying to pull her arm out either. It looked like he was just punching her, saying, pull your arm out, and it was tucked under her body. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. You may not always agree with me, and I'm open to discussion. I am. Ask some people. I've had people disagree with me. I've had people, I'll listen as long as you don't go to the racist chant or call me a retard or anything, because that R word I don't like. So anyway, News Now Yucaipa, letting you know what's going on across the nation. Check out Big Nick South Florida Accountability, and check this story out. Because I don't know what you guys think. I'm kind of on the fence on this one. But I do know that parenting needs to happen.